Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, the Labour Party was almost wiped out in Scotland at the general election, thanks in part to the SNP painting Ed Miliband's party as Tory light and London run. So now that Labour has elected a leader who campaigned on a clear anti-austerity platform, can he help win back Scottish voters? We sent Adam and the Mood Box to find out.
Well, I'm here outside Aberdeen's new shopping centre to find out how people feel about Jeremy Corbyn. We're going to use our balls and our box to see if people think the new Labour leader is a turn-off or a turn-on. Is there a survey? Just grab a ball, pop it in the box. We've got a survey from the BBC. Do you want to come and do it? What do you think of Jeremy Corbyn? Jeremy Corbyn. Is he a turn-on or a turn-off for you?
Turn on.
Turn on? Oh.
Absolutely.
What's he going to do? What's he going to do that's different?
He beats the bloody Tories.
What do you think of Jeremy Corbyn? You love him?
Jeremy Corbyn, turn off.
Why is that?
I don't think he's right for Labour.
What's wrong with him?
He's too radical, possibly.
I was very much in favour of the Labour Party having a shake-up, but I don't have entire confidence that he can sort it out. I think they'll be in the wilderness a little bit longer.
Amazing who you bump into in the street. Here's Anne McLaughlin, SNP MP. Let me guess, Jeremy Corbyn, turn off or turn on for you?
I don't think he's going to help the Labour Party in Scotland, but I don't want to call him a turn off. He's a great guy, he's a really nice person.
He scares me.
Why?
Because it's just, there is something about his attitude and he is just so stuck in his ways.
What do you think about Jeremy Corbyn?
As an ex-Labour Party member, I think it's far better than certainly anybody as far back as Michael Foot, but I may be a dinosaur, who knows?
Oh, you've gone straight for turn off. Why is that? Is it the jackets and the jumpers?
He needs to shave his beard a bit.
Hang on. Is this your husband?
Yes.
He's got a moustache.
Yeah, but that's not a beard.
What do you think about Jeremy Corbyn? Turn on. You think he's great?
Yes.
Yeah, why is he, what's so good about him?
He actually speaks for the people and he's not as, well, hopefully not as corrupt as any of the other politicians.
Thank you very much.
Those balls.
Have you heard of someone called Jeremy Corbyn? No. Well, there we have it. Jeremy Corbyn has quite a few fans in the Granite City, but more people say he's a turn-off.
So that's what the people of Aberdeen think of Jeremy Corbyn, according to our entirely unscientific mood box. The new Labour leader's pitch to voters in Scotland and across the UK is that he leads the party that's committed to fighting austerity. But of course, that's a claim that's also being made repeatedly by the Scottish National Party, and they stress that again at their annual conference in Aberdeen, which is just finished. We're joined now from Aberdeen by the SNP's Westminster Group leader, Angus Robertson, and by Labour's Shadow International Development Secretary, Diane Abbot. Welcome to you both. Diane Abbot, let me come to you first. If you lived in Scotland and you inclined to an anti-austerity position, why would you choose Jeremy Corbyn over Nicola Sturgeon?
As you know, the collapse of the Labour vote in Scotland was a long time coming, and we're not going to repair the position overnight. You know as well as I do, you know Scottish politics better than anyone. So it seems to me, though, that with Jeremy, you have the Labour leader best placed to turn the corner. We've already seen Labour membership in Scotland go up by 1/3, and I believe it will take time to rebuild Labour in Scotland, but Jeremy's the leader to do it.
But given the mess your party got into over the fiscal responsibility charter, it's not very convincing to be seen to be more anti-austerity than the SNP. They knew their position from the start. You were all over the place till you came to your position.
The issue is about parliamentary tactics. Our policy position has always been that the answer to the deficit, and we take the deficit very seriously, is to invest for growth, to create growth and tax revenues, and that's the way ultimately you'll deal with the deficit.
Angus Robertson, Nicola Sturgeon claimed that the Labour U-turn on the fiscal charter was because of SNP pressure. Have you got evidence for that?
Oh, I think it's pretty widely understood in the Westminster village that Labour in Scotland realised that they were going to be in real difficulty going into Scottish Parliament elections next year, voting with the Tories on the Tory fiscal charter. And I think everybody understands that that was a part of the considerations that Labour had to make, because otherwise they would be exposed as being utterly hypocritical in saying that they were opposed to austerity whilst at the same time voting with the Tories. Of course, we've got long experience in Scotland now of the Labour Party working hand in hand with the Tories. They did, after all, form the heart of the anti-independence campaign, and they're paying the price for it electorally still to this day.
Because you worked with the Tories when you were in a minority government too, but what do you say to that, Diane Abbot?
Well, this is a different Labour Party. This is a Labour Party led by Jeremy Corbyn, and you won't see us... We've already said on the question of the EU that Jeremy won't be going on platforms with the Tories. You won't see us working hand in glove with the Tories.
That Jeremy Corbyn's got any cut-through in Scotland? I mean, it was clear during the election campaign Mr Miliband had almost no cut-through in Scotland at all, and we saw that in the results. Can you detect any more cut-through for Mr Corbyn?
Sure. As I said, our membership's gone up by 1/3 in Scotland. Also, Jeremy gets amazing audiences.
Their membership's gone up by about 7-fold, I think, Angus Robertson. Is it not?
Well, the lead of the SNP has over the Labour Party at the present time is 30%, and that is, of course, a tremendous position to be in. But what will really matter is the votes that are cast in the ballot box. I think we've had 24 by-elections since the general election. The SNP has won 22 of them. So we're doing very well, but we're taking nothing for granted. And I think where there is a division between ourselves and the Labour Party, because there is much that unites ourselves and Diane Abbot and Jeremy Corbyn, and hopefully they will stay true to their principles on for example, Trident. But we're already seeing further questions arise about the genuineness of their anti-austerity position that they now claim to have. We hear that somebody, one of Diane's colleagues, was on the Marr show this morning and couldn't confirm whether the Labour Party would reverse the Tories' planned cuts to tax credits. Now, that's an appalling situation to be in.
The
SNP
let
will
me
be
put,
opposing the Tories.
I understand that.
We would restore
Hold
tax
on, Angus
credits.
Robertson.
Will
You've
Diane
made a very
Abbott
good...
confirm that
well,
they will
if
reverse
you would
it?
just be quiet for a second, I could put the question to her, because it's a very good point. What's the answer?
We will not be dealing with the deficit on the backs of the working poor.
Yeah, that's a general principle. Will you reverse the 4.4 billion of tax credits or not?
We have voted against the tax credits, and we are constructing a fiscal mandate which will not involve those cuts in tax credits.
So you will reverse the cuts?
You're going to have to look at John McDonnell's fiscal mandate in its totality.
When do I get that?
Very soon.
Come on,
he's working on it. And no doubt he'll come on this programme to discuss it with you.
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath, but of course we would welcome if he did. Will you, the question Angus Robertson is asking, will you reverse the tax credit cuts or not?
I'm saying you're going to have to look at John McDonnell's fiscal mandate in the totality, but we will certainly not be balancing the books on the shoulders of the working poor.
Oh, all right. Let come back to you. I mean, Angus Robertson, in a sense, you can posture all you want on anti-austerity because you'll never have to implement a UK budget. I mean, this is just a continuation of your opportunism and politics of protest, isn't it?
Well, if that was the case, then the public wouldn't, I think, would see through that and wouldn't be supporting the SNP as they are in such strong numbers. And we also stand on a record in government in Scotland. We've been in since 2007. We're heading into an opportunity for a historic third term. And Nicola Sturgeon has said that she will stand on a record what the SNP has been able to achieve in health, raising the budget from 9 to 12 billion. We've been able to protect free education in Scotland,
That's in cash
free prescription
terms, Mr.
charges.
Robertson.
We've been able to do a lot. The Labour Party has no record on any of these matters.
All right, but you go on and on, your party, about austerity. How much has the Scottish government budget been cut in the past 5 or 6 years?
Well, the Scottish Government has had to deal with very, very difficult circumstances, as have, frankly, budgets for government departments that impact
how much has the Scottish government budget been cut?
I don't. Well, you'll tell me an exact.
You don't know.
You'll tell me an exact number.
You're the anti-austerity party, and you don't know.
Is that government. What I'm saying is that government budgets across the UK have been cut, in Scotland too, and there was a choice in the general election. Again, we put it to the people. There was a different course that could be taken. Right. Unfortunately, the Labour Party did not pursue an anti-austerity course in the general election. The public looked at what the SNP was offering, they looked at what the Labour Party was offering, and they decided to back the SNP.
But I looked at the figures, of which clearly you haven't done, from your own Scottish Government budget. These are the official figures of the Scottish Government. In 2008-9, this is in real terms, comparing like with like, you had an overall budget of £35 billion. In real terms, this year, next year, you have an overall budget of just over £35 billion. In real terms, there's been no cut. Did you know that?
Yeah, well, difficult decisions are still having to be made in government. We're here to talk about the opportunities at Westminster, where unfortunately many of the powers in relation to the budget and to finances are still exercised. And you have asked me to come on a programme to debate with Diane about what the relative positions are of the SNP and the Labour Party. Now I'd like to put on record our position that we are happy to work with the Labour Party and with others in opposing the Tory government. It's not just about the austerity cuts that are impacting on the poorest in our society, it's also about policy choices that are coming down the line at Westminster.
All right.
And one of those really big decisions is on Trident, and I think it would be helpful to know whether the Labour Party is going to waste £100 billion on weapons of mass destruction that can be never used, which has historically
Mr. Robertson, we haven't got much time, so
of Jeremy
if you want me to ask that
really
question, if you want me to ask that question, which I'm anxious to do, it would help if you stopped talking, so I could go straight. What is the answer? He raises another good question. What's the answer?
The leader of the Labour Party is opposed to renewing Trident. As it happens, I'm opposed to renewing Trident.
What's your party's policy?
But the majority of the shadow cabinet want to keep Trident. However, the policy is out to review. And those of us that think it would be madness to spend billions of pounds on a Cold War weapon we can never use, hope that the review comes up with the right answer.
Yes, but we learned this morning that even if you decide not to proceed with Trident, you will still commit to 2% of GDP on defence. So there's no saving in defence. You still be spending the same amount. That's not what Angus Robertson's talking about, correct?
I'm not opposed to spending some of the money released by not renewing Trident.
No, this is all 2%.
I'm not opposed. Can I tell you what I believe? That some of the money could well be spent on, because the British Armed Forces have a great record on peacekeeping and humanitarian activity.
But if you commit to 2%, there is no saving. The 2% includes Trident. If you commit to that, it's the same amount of money. Just one final thing, one general final thing. Are you up for working with Angus Robertson? If the two of you, only by getting together do you come anywhere near the Tory majority. So are you up for working together?
Of course, where we agree with the SNP, I'm confident the Labour Party will want to work with them. Where we disagree, of course, we can't.
Will you have a cup of tea with Mr. Robertson when he comes back down to London?
I've had cups of tea with Angus Robertson before. Happy to have them again.
There you are. I've done my best to play the role of Kofi Annan, Mr. Robertson. Thank you for joining us from Aberdeen, Diane Abbot, here in London.